Welcome to the Remington Kuhn Show, episode number 4. I have a very special guest on the show today, Tyson Colen. Tyson, how you feeling?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing about yourself?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. How are you feeling being on the show for the first time?
Excited. Very excited.
Going to talk about a lot of things today, but we have to start with something that Tyson has been asked about quite a lot, and that is your March Madness bracket. Tyson won the March Madness bracket challenge with a bracket of up in the 98th percentile, so he did very, very well. Tyson, I just want to know, how did you do it?
Honestly, I couldn't really tell you. Honestly, it was a lot of thinking and processing about what I wanted to do, who I thought was good enough to move on to the next round.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
So when you had matchups where you liked both teams, was there something that really set it off for you that you could break those ties and make a decision decisively of which team you really thought was going to win?
Yeah. I thought, who is the better team? Like, who has played better and better over the course of the season?
Okay, so the better overall team. Whoever
Yes.
you thought was the better overall team, you just went with who you thought was the better team and who you thought would win.
Yes.
It's that simple. It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. Literally, Tyson picked who he thought was the better team in every matchup, and he was just right almost all the time. I guess that's how you do it. If everybody could have Tyson's brain.
I guess he could be right. He could be wrong. I think it was luck. But maybe it wasn't.
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe you're just that smart.
Yeah.
Because didn't you get 98th percentile on the women's, too?
Yeah, I got
So
90.
it's not just men's. This guy is a whiz at college basketball, apparently. And you did pick UConn to win it all, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. I'm not going to tell you about my bracket because I'm just going to embarrass myself. But we're just going to say I didn't get last. Almost. But I didn't get last.
Last is never bad. Getting last, no. Not getting last is always a good thing.
Oh, yeah, of course.
That was-
Well, you might get last in the fantasy baseball league, so.
We don't talk about that.
Okay, so we're not talking about my bracket, and we're not talking about Tyson's baseball team. We're going to skip those. Okay, so Tyson, we talked about March Madness a little bit. We touched on men's. We touched on women's. We touched on your bracket. Now, let's talk about the Bucks. Because I know that's the team you rep today, and the draft is coming up, and Tyson's obviously number one sport is football. We adjusted the jerseys appropriately. Tyson is a Bucks fan and a Browns fan, but tell them about that. I don't want to tell them. You tell them about yourself.
So, I grew up watching the Bucks. Most of my family is from Tampa, but I'm from Cleveland, so I like both the teams. And the Browns have a special part of my heart, but the Bucks are my main team. And the Bucks will win the division this year. Just saying.
Even with Kirk Cousins on the Falcons, you can say that with a straight face.
Yes, because Kirk Cousins is not as good as Baker Mayfield.
I do love Baker Mayfield. So Tyson, the contract of Baker Mayfield, the deal that the Bucks gave him, I think he deserved it. What is your take on
I think it was a little bit too much. We paid, it's 3 years, $100 million, 33.3 per year, but I think that's a little bit too much for a team that went 9-8.
it?
I know we won our division, but we went 9-8 and won our division.
Well, the thing that they talk about when they're awarding contracts is you make your money in the playoffs. So the way that Baker has proven himself over the years with the Browns and with the Bucks in the postseason, all you got to do is get in. So 9-8, they were really close, really, to make it to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
So, or did they make it to the NFC Championship game?
We lost to the Lions in the divisional round.
The Lions, yeah. Okay, so that was the game I was thinking of. So Jared Goff versus Baker Mayfield. Jared Goff won, but then ultimately Kansas City is our champion once again.
Once again.
I don't want to talk about it
We
either.
don't talk about the Chiefs.
We don't. Well, you don't hate them.
I don't hate them.
I hate them.
I don't. I saw witnessed the Bucks beating the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and that was a great moment.
Yeah, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
And you were talking about it before we actually went live, the Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes debate. You don't think that's ever going to change. Tom Brady's the GOAT, and there's a period at the end of that sentence. Tom Brady's the GOAT.
When it mattered, Brady won. In 2020, the Bucks played Breeze, Rodgers, and Mahomes back to back to back in the playoffs. We won every single game, all three of them.
Yeah.
I think Tom Brady has the stats, the Super Bowls, and just because Patrick Mahomes is the golden boy now doesn't mean he will ever be better than Tom Brady.
Okay, we got that on record. All right, so football. We talked about them. We talked about the Bucks. Ohio State. I think we might be a little bit too early to talk about Ohio State. They had their spring game. How did that go?
I was really surprised. The defense looks really good. I know it's the spring game, and you can't really tell anything from a spring game because it's basically just a big team practice. But the defense looks really good. I'm very excited for this upcoming fall.
Okay, so then let's talk draft. Because obviously that's coming up, and we got some Ohio State players in the draft. Yeah. So Marvin Harrison Jr., we agreed he's the best prospect in the draft.
Yeah.
He's number one on a lot of big boards. But the problem is the teams at the top need a quarterback. Yeah. So Marvin Harrison is projected to fall to at least 4.
Yeah.
He could fall further, technically, if the Cardinals were to trade that pick to a team like the Vikings that need a quarterback like J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
So we don't really know where Marv's going to go. Because what if there's a run on quarterbacks and a run on offensive linemen? You're talking Marvin Harrison at like 8, 9, maybe even 10.
What I think is, I think the first 4 picks will be quarterbacks. I think Arizona's going to trade it to the Vikings. Mm-hmm. And the first 4 is going to be Caleb, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, and I forgot whoever.
JJ.
And JJ. And with the 5th pick, the Chargers have it. And the Chargers are going to take Marv.
That would be interesting because I think they need an offensive lineman more than anything. I would maybe think they might lean toward Joe Alt, but you think if Marv falls to 5, they almost have to take him.
They don't have a wide receiver right now.
Correct.
They lost Mike Williams and they lost Keenan Allen. They need a wide receiver, and I think Justin Herbert can do really good things with Marv.
Yeah, because they drafted Quentin Johnston, and obviously I would call him a bust. I know you're not supposed to call them a bust after 1 year. I would call him a bust. Marvin Harrison Jr. is bust-proof. His ceiling is the best receiver in the league.
Yeah.
Arguably the best player in the league.
Arguably.
So you can't really go wrong with it.
Not at all.
But then the other thing you have to consider is Brock Bowers, when he comes into the league, is going to be a top 5 tight end, maybe top 3, with the potential to be number 1. Yeah. I'm not trying to rival Lagoda, but he is really good. And I've seen mock drafts where he falls to like 15.
I don't know, because I don't know who really needs a tight end right now.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't know who really needs a tight end. Like, because I would love if the Bucks would get him, but the Bucks will not get him because we need O-linemen.
Yeah.
We need O-line really badly.
So we're talking about a guy that has the potential to be number 1 wide receiver, a guy that has the potential to be number 1 tight end in the league. Joe Old, I would say, maybe the potential to be one of the best tackles in the league. And everybody thinks Caleb Williams is the next generational quarterback. So we're loaded with this draft class. Now, you shook your head. We both agree that Caleb Williams isn't what everybody says he is. I think he's got a lot to work through.
Yeah.
But let's talk about that. Yeah. So with Caleb Williams, do you think the Bears made the right decision trading Justin Fields?
Not at all. They're basically in the exact same position as they were when they drafted Justin Fields. Mm-hmm. They got a new quarterback, but they still need help.
Yep.
Like, yes, the Bears got Keenan Allen. They got good on their defense. But we don't know how good Caleb is actually going to be. USC went 7-5 last year. I know a lot of it was on the defense, but a lot of it is also on Caleb.
And even then, I think it's not necessarily the talent that I'm worried about. I'm not saying Caleb Williams is untalented. Clearly, he's talented.
He's very talented.
But the issue is what's between the ears with Caleb Williams. For me, I think that he has one of those, I don't want to say ego issues, but like he seems a little bit overconfident in himself. And it's good to have confidence to an extent, but he's asking for stakes in a team and all kinds of stuff to get drafted by them, and not actually like meeting with certain teams. He thinks he's going to go number one, but he's like, he made the comment about how many teams could actually draft him.
Yeah.
And I just feel like he's a little bit full of himself, just a little bit.
He's a giant ego. I know I can't really say that, but he has a giant ego. I saw a post on Instagram that he wants to be immortal. Like, he wants to be the greatest thing since Tom Brady. And you know, Josh Rosen also said that, and you saw what happened with Josh Rosen.
I'm not saying he's Josh Rosen, but that's a great comp. Great comp. We haven't seen quarterbacks like that succeed. We just haven't. Like, when you have that complex in your mind, when you go into the league and the level changes significantly, obviously, up in competition from college to pro, you can't handle it because you already think you're the greatest, and you don't want to change your ways, but you do have to adjust to get acclimated to the higher level of football.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
So what do you think about Drake May?
I think he's actually going to be really good. I think he actually out of every quarterback who's projected to go in the top 5, I think Drake May is one of 2 quarterbacks who I see could actually have a really good career.
Okay, I can agree with that. So let me go back to Ohio State because obviously you know Ohio State more than anything else. JT Tuimoloau. I think he is really good and getting overlooked a little bit in this draft class. I feel like he's one of the better pass rushers in the class, but mock drafts have him going in the 2nd round. How do you feel about that?
First off, I think JT is staying another year.
You think he is?
Yeah, I think I saw that I think he's staying. Yeah, he's staying another year at Ohio State.
Maybe that's why he's not on the mock drafts. I swear I saw him on the mock drafts, man.
He's staying another year because a lot of players on Ohio State's team. There's only 2-3 players that actually went to the draft from Ohio State.
Is Burke leaving?
See,
I don't even know all
this. Denzel Burke is he's staying too. Staying another year. Everyone got pissed about how we performed last year, and everyone knows we can do much better this year. So a lot of our players stayed.
Okay, so Marv declared.
Marv declared. I think one defensive. Oh yeah, Tommy Eichenberg declared. Steel Chambers declared, and I think an O-lineman declared.
This guy's an encyclopedia. But anyways, so let's move off of Ohio State. Let's talk baseball because it's baseball season.
It's baseball season.
And you were talking about the Rays. We were talking about the Rays a little bit. What's wrong with them other than the fact that their whole pitching staff is on the IL?
Honestly, I need to get more into baseball.
Yeah.
I don't have like the right streaming platforms to get into watching baseball. But I know the Yankees are doing good. The AL East could rival the AFC North in football because they're both divisions are very good, and every team in the divisions can make the playoffs.
Really?
I think so.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Because Boston's pitching staff has been unreal. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
But it's been ridiculous. Obviously, the Orioles have one of the best rosters in the league. Yankees have been much better with Juan Soto. Their pitching staff is much improved from last year. And obviously, the Rays. They just find ways to win. Like Kevin Cash and the boys, they just find ways to win.
They find their ways. Like last year, we started 24-0, and we ended the season with 90 wins. And this season, I think we're 8-5 right now, which is not bad, but it could be a lot worse with the team we have.
Let's look at the AL East while we're here. We might as well look at it so that I have the exact numbers. I don't want to do research, but I will. So the Rays are 9-8. The Red Sox are 9-8. The Blue Jays are 9-8. The Orioles are 10-6, and the Yankees are 12-5. So you are talking about 5 legitimate teams. If the playoffs started today, The Yankees would win the American League East. The Orioles would be the second wild card, and all three of Red Sox, Rays, and Blue Jays would miss by 1 game. They're all 1 game back.
That's crazy.
So 4 of them could make the playoffs,
Yeah.
realistically. I mean, that's not crazy to think. Like, you are right about that. But obviously, there are other teams in the American League that are very competent. I
Yeah.
don't think you're going to get 2 teams out of the AL Central, but you do like the Guardians too,
Yeah,
right?
I do like the
So
Guardians.
I think they likely win that division. I like the Tigers personally. I think the Tigers could take that division. Don't
Tigers-
have to worry about the White Sox at all.
No, the White Sox, I watched a game yesterday versus the Reds,
Mhm.
and they're not good. Same with the Marlins. The Marlins are not that good, but they can win games if they really want to.
Oh yeah, they got players. I mean, they got Josh Bell, they got Jake Berger, Luis Ariz, and then their whole pitching staff is on the IL. So is it Florida? Because you got all the Marlins, all their starters are on the IL. The Rays, all their starters are on the IL. And I don't just mean on the IL. I mean like Tommy John extended missing time. Like Sandy Alcantara needed Tommy John. And then on the Rays side, Shane McClanahan needed Tommy John surgery. Yuri Perez is now out. Last year, the Rays lost Drew Rasmussen. They lost Jeffrey Springs. Shane Baz is still trying to come back from injury.
Yeah.
I mean, the list goes on and on and on, and you're just like, when does it end? But is it Florida? I mean, they're all down here for spring training.
Yeah, I really don't know because it is true. It is. They're all down here for spring training.
Yeah.
But it might just be Florida because it's something the state of Florida would do. Because not all teams in here are good. They are either really mid or pretty bad.
And you're the reason I ask you is because you lived in Florida pretty much your whole life.
Yeah.
So I just thought maybe Tyson has some inside information. I haven't lived here that long, so I don't really know. But
Yeah, it probably is the state of Florida. Like, it could very possibly. The Marlins are below tier, and the Rays are mid to high tier, just like how the Dolphins and the Bucks are.
okay, that's fair. So we got 2 more sports to cover because I try to talk all 4 major sports with anybody that comes on the show. Tomorrow, the Sixers, my Sixers, are playing the Miami Heat. So what do you have to say about that? Do you think the Heat and Jimmy Butler are going to take out my Sixers in the play-ins?
Yes.
No.
I think it happens every single year. The Heat play bad during the regular season all the time. They find a way to make the play-in, and they go on some crazy run.
Yes.
I don't get it. I don't get how Jimmy Butler goes from this random guy who is not that good in the regular season. He averages like 20 to 25 points per game. Yeah, which is not bad. But then in the playoffs, he averages like 30, 35. And it's like, I don't get it. Like, why don't you do this the entire season? But so you make us Heat fans want to be like, are we going to be good this season? Are we going to do bad?
Yeah.
How's the playoffs going to go? It's kind of annoying.
Oh, yeah. But here's the thing. Being a Sixers fan, I know nothing more than making it maybe through the first round, one time through the second round, and then losing. So every year we have this unreal team, and we get in the playoffs, and then it's like every year. So I have no expectations whatsoever, whereas you at least have seen your team make it far in the playoffs,
Yeah.
especially with LeBron.
With the big 3 was unreal. It was a great time of my life. The big 3 with Wade, Bosh, and LeBron. It was amazing. But with this Heat team, the main issue with the Heat is that we need a center. We don't have an actual real center.
Bam Adebayo.
He's a power forward. He's not big enough for to be a center. And that is my opinion, and my opinion don't matter. But I honestly think the Heat would be so much better if they actually had a 5 instead of Bam, because Bam is a 4.
Okay. Hey, I'm not saying nothing. All I know is Scary Terry's not playing tomorrow, and I'm feeling pretty good about that. So, yeah. I mean, let's see how it goes. I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow. I actually got to check now.
I'm pretty sure it is tomorrow.
Because
Tomorrow at, like,
isn't the last.
I think it's tomorrow at 7.
So the play-ins start today.
Yeah, the Lakers play
The Pelicans.
the Pelicans.
And then the Warriors play the Kings. And then, 7 o'clock tomorrow. Heat Sixers. Sixers favored by 4.5. As expected. Since Embiid's been back, we've been really good. So obviously, we have the same record as the Magic. We both kind of like the Magic too.
Yeah, except we live in the area.
Yeah, and well, it's the only sports team we got here.
Yeah.
So,
Basically, there's no baseball, no football. That's why Tampa's exist.
yeah, Tampa's great though.
Yeah.
Tampa's awesome. And so now that we talked a little bit of basketball, you think the Heat are going to win. I think the Sixers are going to win. We'll obviously see who ends up winning that game tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tyson, you're not my friend until after the game. Here's the last thing. Hockey. Because tonight's a big night for my team because even though they're not playing, a lot of things have to happen for them to get in the playoffs. But your team's already in the playoffs,
Yeah.
man.
I think with the Lightning, they're like we can be good or we can be bad. It's like one year we can make it to the finals,
Mhm.
and one year we could lose in the first round.
Yeah.
Like the Lightning, I don't think I could maybe see them get past the first round, but after this maybe the second round, but I doubt it after the second round.
Well, Nikita Kucherov, at some point, his back's got to start hurting from
Yeah.
carrying the whole team on it.
Yeah, really right now I think it's Nikita Kucherov, Steven Stamkos, and a couple other guys.
Hagel's been good. Hagel's been good.
Brandon Hagel and Braden Point have been also
Yeah.
really good. I went to a game about 2 months ago, and it was not fun.
Who'd they play?
We played the Florida Panthers.
Well, that's why.
Our rival Florida Panthers, who the Lightning actually have beaten more times than you think.
Well, the Panthers were bad for a while. In their defense, they were bad for a while.
But when they are good.
Oh, you mean like recently?
Recently,
Yeah.
we've won a lot. But the game I went to was just really unlucky. It was 9-2 blowout loss for the Lightning. And it was not fun.
Well, the Panthers and the Hurricanes are my two picks from the Eastern Conference that could win the Stanley Cup. So I'm not surprised that happened, that drubbing of your poor Lightning. You should switch teams.
No. Here's my thing about the Florida Panthers. They're good. They are really good. But they always do mess up something in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Every single year.
Well, you're spoiled because the Lightning won you, 3 Stanley Cups in your lifetime? Or did you get 4?
We got...
Were you alive for the
2.
first one?
I wasn't alive in 04 when they won it in 04.
Okay.
But they won it in 20, in 21, and they made it in 22, but lost to the Avalanche.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, I mean, Tyson's obviously had a lot of championships with the Buccaneers and the Lightning and the Heat. You're spoiled, man. You're spoiled. Do you want to know how many championships? I'm not even going to talk about how many. Okay. Screw you. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about on the show before we end this episode? Is there anything else any rants you want to go on? Anything that's on your mind? Like what do you want to talk about?
Honestly, I don't know. I think really, with right now, I think what my predictions are for each. Like I think for the NBA, it's gonna be. I think the Thunder have a good shot to make the conference finals. I think it's gonna be the Nuggets and the Thunder.
Let's pull up the bracket. We'll pull up the bracket.
Pull up the bracket.
Okay, we'll start making picks while we're here. Hey,
Wow.
let's make some freaking picks, man. So NBA playoff bracket. See if I can get a bracket here. Why is this so difficult to find one? This is stupid. Here it is. This is great. So let's just go through each matchup. Why not? Play-in game, Sixers Heat. You already said Heat.
Yeah.
I'm saying Sixers. What about play-in game Hawks Bulls?
I haven't watched enough basketball, but I'm gonna take the Bulls.
Okay. Me too. And then these are interesting though. Lakers versus Pelicans is actually a really good matchup.
I think the Lakers are a lot better than what people think.
Okay.
I think the Lakers will win that game.
Okay. So would you be mad if I say that the Pelicans are going to win that game and that the Lakers are going to have to play the Warriors in the play-in game to make it in as the 8th seed? Because that would be interesting.
That would be interesting. If the Lakers I wouldn't actually be opposed to that because that would be another LeBron versus Steph matchup, and we saw how LeBron versus Steph goes in the playoffs.
And that's the thing about the Heat Sixers game and the Lakers Pelicans game. If you're the 7 or the 8 seed and you lose in the play-ins, you still get to play another game to try to get the 8 seed. You're only playing for the 7th seed, so it's not like win or go home like it is in the 8 seed game.
Yeah.
So just so people understand, for those that aren't familiar with the play-in tournament, because I think it's stupid. No offense to the NBA, but I don't like the play-in at all. So now that we picked the play-in, since that's kind of what's current, let's just see who we think's going to come out of the conference. So you said you like the Thunder, the number 1 seed. Do you have another team in the West that you like?
The Nuggets.
The Nuggets?
I think the Nuggets.
So the top 2 seeds. I think it's going to be tough to beat Boston, but I hate them so much that I'm not taking Boston. Somebody's got to beat Boston. So you know what my answer is? Anybody but Boston. Go ahead.
See, with the East, it's the Heat are a very confusing team. Like, because they could go on a run and they can beat Boston. They can beat whoever they want. It's the Heat. But then they can also lose to Boston. It's usually the Heat and Boston. The Heat versus the Celtics, and whoever wins that game goes to the.
See, that's what I want to see, dude. If the Sixers beat the Heat, they play the Knicks in the first round, which is a great matchup, and then the Heat can beat whoever between the Hawks and the Bulls. Are they real teams? I'm sorry. Then the Heat will be playing the Celtics anyways, and I'd love to see that because, like you said, I mean, if you get Scary Terry back healthy, if Jimmy is playoff Jimmy, dude, the Celtics aren't gonna know what hit him. You know?
Not at all.
So, I'm all for it. And now here's really messed up. Cavs Magic, though. Because that's your city, Cleveland, but then your city, Orlando. So, like, who's winning that series?
The thing is, the Magic have surprised me. They have really... did not think they were going to be good. But they're really damn good.
Yeah, they're great.
And with the Cavs... They've been on the down low. Like they've won games. They've made the playoffs, but they also went on this like whole month of winning, and then they started losing again.
Oh, I remember that. Donovan Mitchell just.
Yeah, and so the Cavs, they can be. I think that could go to a 7-game series because they're both really good teams.
I could see it.
But I think the Magic are gonna pull it out.
I think Pacers Bucks is sneaky too because Giannis isn't full health. If he's missing the first couple games of that series, I mean, obviously Damian Lillard, but I like the Pacers.
Yeah.
So
I don't like Milwaukee because they took Dame away from us, but it was also Portland.
That would have been so fun. Dame in Miami would have been so fun.
It
He
would-
wanted to go to Miami. Why are we depriving Damian Lillard of what he wants?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's because Portland's selfish.
Yeah.
GMs did not want anyone from Miami.
Well, that's their loss. I guess.
It is their loss.
So we'll see how that goes, how that plays out. I appreciate everybody watching the show today. This has been Tyson. We might have you back on next Tuesday for Tyson Tuesday. If not, we'll see you at some point.
We'll see.
So
I'll be back.
I appreciate you coming on the show today. This has been the Remington Kuhn Show. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Thank you.